Roshini Rajkumar with you. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday here with me. We have such a great show. Well, about my next guest, Whoopi Goldberg has said, look him up. Well, look no further. We are going to hear from him, and he is Randy Bryce. He is a Wisconsinite who is taking on Speaker Paul Ryan. Hi there, Randy.
Hi, Roshini. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, you are welcome. It is my pleasure. You know, I have to tell you, earlier in the week, or last week, I guess, because we're in a new week, I was noticing on my Twitter feed one of your campaign videos, and what really struck me is that Chelsea Handler, who I adore, the comedian,
Right.
retweeted you, and then I got to digging in, and all these celebs are retweeting you. You've been on national television programs. Give us a little intro to Randy Bryce.
Well, I'm a lifelong Wisconsin resident. The only time I left was when I was serving in the U.S. Army. I graduated from public schools. After I got back from the Army, I did whatever I could to pay the bills off. And for a while, it was like 2 full-time jobs. Then I found the apprenticeship. I got lucky and applied for the ironworkers apprenticeship. Got my journey in this book, and I've been doing that for the last 20 years. So it's, and I've been driving around through the first district and just looking, I'll drive with my son and I'm like, look, Daddy built that. And by now my son's telling Dad, you already told me that. So I'm like, all right.
Reality check right there in a little body.
Absolutely. Which is great to have. But, then I look over at Paul Ryan and I'm like, what has he been doing? And I mean, especially with this last attempt at taking away everybody's health care. And that's, that I'm looking at, my son, myself, my parents, that's 3 generations. And I'm like, if he's doing this is just our family. It's everybody in our neighborhood. It's, it's everybody that's affected by it. So it's a pretty scary time in our history.
And you yourself are a cancer survivor.
Correct. And I mean, and that's what means that puts a little more emphasis on my son because right before the surgery, one of the probabilities, the doctor told me, he says, after we do the surgery, you're probably not going to be able to have kids. So at that point, it's like, well, I'm going to die if I don't have the surgery. It wasn't a choice at the matter. It was just something I kind of resigned myself to. But lo and behold, 10 years ago, my son was born, and that's, I consider him a miracle child. So I'm more apt to, to make sure that this little miracle guy is, he's going to have as bright a future as he possibly can.
What are some of the things you are seeing on the campaign trail? Because, I think everyone would say this could be an uphill battle for you, Randy.
Oh, absolutely is. But let me just say that, the nature of the work I do as an iron worker, and I, a shout out to the local 512 guys in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. It's, we walk up to a job site and you know what you're going to do. And it can involve working hundreds of feet up in the air on a beam 3 inches wide. That's your office. So it's not like I'm, I haven't experienced things that others would look at as being uphill. And yeah, it is difficult. But I mean, I knew we were going to have a successful launch because I've been able to get some, good help around me. But the way that it blew up, and it's gone, national, and the support I'm getting from around the country, and it's not like I have some brilliant, one brilliant policy that's gonna, change everybody's life. It's my ability. It's just speaking out as a regular working guy and being willing to listen. Paul Ryan hasn't been in our area for over 600 days, but he'll travel around to these, get your picture taken with him for $10,000. And at the same time, I mean, he shows who his constituency is. It's his big money donors, and it's not the people, the working people, that are standing up. And that's the only reason I decided to run is I want people like me representing me, and I'd like to see more people like that around the country.
I'm talking with Randy Bryce. He is a Democrat running in Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District, taking on Speaker Paul Ryan. And he has said he is a proud iron worker. He's a cancer survivor. He's had illness that he has supported his parents through. So he's really looking at the real life issues that are going on. If you want to talk with him, give us a call, 651-989-9226 or 866-989-9226. You can also text us, 81807. So, Randy, I have to tell you, as I was getting ready for this segment, I went on Twitter yesterday just to double check some items, and I wrote down you had 89,500 followers. I wanted to make sure that number was correct, so I just double checked it, and you are up to 92.1 thousand followers, 92,100 followers. So in a matter of about a day, you got almost 3,000 more followers on Twitter. This campaign seems to be sort of spreading like wildfire, but you have to focus on Wisconsin's 1st District. What are you going to say to them? Because they are the only ones who can vote for you.
Right, correct. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going around, I'm listening to people, and I've been involved in the state, what's been going on since Scott Walker was elected. So I'm aware of the local issues and what's going on now with the recent November election is that all of the horrible things that have affected workers in Wisconsin, that's being exported to the federal level. And I tried doing what I could as far as testifying and attending any kind of events, organizing events to alert people what's going on. But and it's just gotten to the point where this is my only chance. This is the only chance I see. Paul Ryan is extremely vulnerable based on his decisions, not only to take away our health care, but reward the wealthy donors. And, he's not doing anything for us, and he's not even coming here to listen. We had to ask neighboring Congressman Mark Pocan to come into the 1st District, not once, but twice, to explain what exactly is contained in this health care bill that they're having. So it's just people want to be heard. And we just had an event yesterday within, we announced it within a few days, and it was at United Auto Workers Local 72. And they were affected. That hall, although members of that hall, most of them are retirees now because their jobs are gone. And the same thing in Janesville. There's a big abandoned plant standing there. Nobody's working in it. And then recently in Waukesha County, some of the best paying jobs in Waukesha County, the whole factory is going up to Canada. So people are hungry for good jobs. We're hungry to keep our health care. But the biggest issue is just having somebody. Who can represent you if they're not listening to you?
Yeah, and that is what our nation really was founded on, is to have members of Congress really listening to their specific districts. I'm talking with Randy Bryce. He's a Democrat running in Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District. He is running against Republican and Speaker of the House Paul Ryan. And many would say this is a long shot candidate, but I can tell you, as I've watched his Twitter feed, as I've watched some of the videos, and as someone who myself is a communication coach working with leaders, you've got some savvy going on there, Randy, with how you've packaged all of this. Are you getting some help, or is a lot of this coming from sort of your own vision?
No, the message is my own. And I'm constantly asked, what do you think about this? That's why, we're working on how we're going to exactly put the words together for our message and our stances. It's me. Again, as far as the video, I'd like to point out the skill of those who actually did all the work on the video. It was 2 days of shooting, and it comes down to like a 2-minute and 27-second cut, which is great. I knew people had been asking me. They're like, Randy, because of my involvement, asking me to run against Ryan. They're like, we need a good candidate. Now's the time. If we're going to take him out, now's the time. So I've had people point others in the direction to help me. They were like, We heard you're interested in running. Here's my experience. I mean, one of the guys helping me, he just ran, he did stuff for Senator Duckworth. He ran Mayor de Blasio's campaign. So, I mean, he has experience, and he told me, he's like, normally I don't handle congressional-sized campaigns now, but he's like, you and your race excites me. We can do something if you'll have my help. And, you know, I wasn't going to turn down help from somebody of his caliber. So it's much appreciated. And it was just, it's nothing. I mean, it's just me as a working guy, which I mean, I'm kind of surprised at how big it's blown up.
Yeah, it really has. It's maybe there is a thirst for it. I'm talking with Randy Bryce. He's a Democrat running in Wisconsin's first. He was just on MSNBC this morning. He's chatting with us now. If you have a question for him, give us a call in our remaining couple minutes, 651-989-9226, or text us, 81807. We have several texts already coming in for you, Randy. This listener says, to RR, good show as always. Thanks. As a Vietnam vet, what does your guest think about President Trump and the job he has been doing so far?
This healthcare bill is going to take away. It's going to cut help to veterans. And being a veteran, I'm also president of the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce and the chair for the Democratic Party of Wisconsin's Veteran Caucus. I'm sick of, you know, if we can send people to war, we should be able to take care of them once they get back. And you know, it's not only physical health, people coming back broken, but broken mentally as well, and having issues just dealing with, you know, pointing a weapon at somebody and pulling the trigger with thoughts of them never drawing another breath or having a bullet shot towards you. There's no way that somebody's going to come back from that experience and be the same they were when they left. So I'm completely committed to making sure that our veterans are taken care of, not just when they're in uniform, but when they come back. And I don't think, honestly, President Trump, he talks a good game, but, you know, he promised veterans money that he never delivered. And I'm very unimpressed, which would be the kindest way I think I could describe how I feel about Donald Trump treating veterans.
All right, Randy, we have many texts coming in, so we'll just try to go through a little bit of a fire round because I know you need to get on to some other interviews.
Okay. All right.
Ron in Lakeville says, do you believe in less government or more government?
I believe in enough government to get people services that they require and to fund programs. If we're going to have some kind of protections, I think that those need to be taken care of. If we have, you know, something like OSHA that guarantees a safe work site, if we don't have inspectors that work for it, it's going to be ineffective.
Another listener with a 715 area code says, I wish I could vote for you. So I thought I would share that. Another listener says he sounds more like a socialist than a Democrat. Any comment there?
No. Well, I spoke at a Bernie Sanders rally. And then after the primary, I was elected to be an elector for Hillary Clinton. I don't, you know, I see myself as a spokesperson for working people. I want us to have a safe environment and to be able to raise, you know, our families to be able to take care of ourselves without government dependence, because I see too much corporate welfare going on, and that's what I'm opposed to.
Randy Bryce, I hope you stay in touch with us. We'd love to have you back as we get closer to election time. I know you've got, you know, a road ahead of you here, but really appreciate your time today. And you are running against Speaker Ryan. It's a big job, so have fun out there. We'll keep an eye on you.
Thank you. Again, thank you for the invitation. I'll talk with you anytime.
All right. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks. Goodbye.
We are going to take a quick break.